Ben Sliney was the National Operations Manager on 11th of September 2001. This gentleman had taken over the role of National Operations Manager that very morning. And something unprecedented happened that day. There were a total of 4,200 flights hovering in the US airspace. 4,200 flights hovering in the US airspace. And they only had the information that a couple of planes had been hijacked. Now that couple could be 2 planes, 3 planes, 4 planes. Nobody knew how many planes had been hijacked. A couple of planes had been hijacked and there were 4,200 flights in the US airspace. Something commendable happened that day in a couple of hours. Obviously, they couldn't avert the tragedy. The World Trade Center blew up, but they were able to ground those 4,200 airplanes in a couple of hours. This had never happened before. So come to think of it, the logistics part, 4,200 airplanes in the airspace, and you're able to ground them in a couple of hours, all of them, barring those 2 or 3 which actually hit the targets, because you didn't know which ones would hit the targets. Now, why am I telling you this story to start off with? How could this have happened? And believe me, he didn't have any permission. He acted on his own instinct. How could he have done that? How could he have accomplished what he accomplished in a couple of hours? Was there a rule book? Do you think there was a rule book? No, because it had never happened before. There was no rule book. How could he achieve that? It was only one word which comes to mind, and that's relationship. So he was not new to FAA. He had worked for 25 years in the FAA as an air traffic controller, as a supervisor, as an operations manager at a regional level. He had done various roles and he had established relationships with many of those people as he had climbed the ladder. And it's only that one word, relationship. He called up people and they agreed to his word. They could also have gone by the books and ignored what Ben Sliney said, but they all heeded to his request. That's the power of relationship. Many times you will also face situations wherein you need to take your judgment. Everything doesn't happen by the book. Yeah. But will people listen to you that day? Will be dependent on what kind of relationships you have with your peers.